All right. So I'll get a few moments for people to make their way in, and then we'll get started shortly, guys. All right, I'll get a few more moments. I think people are still trickling their way in. All right, let's see. Man, this thing still doesn't work. The text button. Let me see if I could. Just gonna copy something here. Okay, so agenda for today: review official trades, review trades taken, like anything today. And the trades identified. And answer any questions. All right, so I'll get a few more moments for people to keep joining in. I think we have a few more people who are still not here. If they don't join in the next couple minutes, then we'll just get started without them. And they can just watch the replay if necessary. So, all right, guys, good morning, everybody. Hopefully, well, it seems like half of the people made profit today, half of the people didn't because of the entry. Just going back and reviewing the entry for today, if you guys were paying attention during the replay, I basically mentioned like if this candle was going to close red, then I was going to enter. So depending on whoever was like paying attention at the time, if you want to take the PRB entry, you just got to have full attention for like at least the first 30 minutes or maybe even the first 10 minutes. Because this entry is going to come up very quickly. Today was a little bit of a more tricky day because as you guys could see how it moved, price spiked up or it spiked down actually on open. It came back for the retracement. The space movement happened right here. And we were just waiting for that retracement up further. And you can see the red candle here confirmed that price was going to come back down. And that's where we took the entry. So it's okay if people entered late and then got stopped out. It seems like half of the people entered right away. Some people entered for a discount. Some people entered late. Some people entered early. Typically, you're not going to get a big drawdown move like it did today. So I think the move today was just one of those situations where, and you guys can see from my profits as well, I got caught in some slippage. So it's just one of those days where we didn't really have control over entries completely and exits as well. But the trade did hit. So, I mean, for whoever held on to it, your trade did hit. For me personally, unfortunately, I had to pull out like when price came down to here, because at this point, the trade was running for too long. Typically, I wouldn't pull out this early, but because of the way that the candles are moving here, I ended up just pulling out early instead of holding on to it for the full move, which if I would have held on for another minute or a couple of seconds, actually, it would have pushed down even further to full TP. But it's all good. Again, this strategy is just one that we're still currently it's a work in progress, so it's going to get better over time. The last week was pretty smooth. There was like no drawdown. It was just today we had like that big spike in movement with regard to, the spikes in price, because the volatility was very high. As you guys can see, the ATR down here was 23. For the past couple weeks, it's kind of been like below 15 or around 15. So it's usually a smooth move just down. But obviously the fake out happened right here, and then it came right back down to the TP. Yeah, Nicholas said that entry slipped 6 points against him. Should have paid more attention to that and get out at break even. Yeah, so if you guys ever get into a position and you already know you're in at a very bad entry point, even myself, I think my entry point was a little lower. It was like a little lower, like down here. So in a situation like that where you get in late, it's best to just get out of the trade. So because at that point your risk multiplies, right? Because instead of having your stop loss up here where it's supposed to be, your stop loss is now down here. So for future reference, if you guys get in late, and you got in late, like you get in and you're like, okay, right, it's in profit on Sean's markup, but it's not in profit on my NinjaTrader or my TraderBait. In a situation like that, you should probably just get out with profit, and then that day's just get scrapped for the most part. Because if you don't scrap the trade, something like this could happen, or it pulls up and then it'll just stop you out before it comes right back down at TP, because it came down pretty hard right after. And this is just one of those days, right? It's just one of those days that we just don't have control over the slippage. Usually the slippage wasn't so bad. Like if you look at my profits for last week, let's see. So my profits for last week, the slippage was not bad at all. Like this was from, I think, Friday. I was supposed to make 1,500. The slippage actually worked in my favor. But generally, this is because these are the copier accounts, and it would basically be the copier accounts would have the issue, not the main account. But the slippage today was pretty obvious. You can see my main account here, I locked in about 180, and one of my accounts locked in 600, while everything else locked in about 100. So this is how you can see the slippage is pretty obvious. For over here, the past previous days, not as obvious. It was about the same range, 1,500 to 1,700. And same with the previous days before that, right? 1,500 per account. 1,500, 1,900. It was off by like a couple $100, not like by a lot. So it's just one of the days where the slippage was big. I don't think this is going to happen pretty often. This is just the day that it happened, unfortunately. So some people made profits, some people didn't, and it's all good. I mean, if you guys took a loss on this trade, it's cool, because we're going to come back, or you're going to try it again tomorrow, if not the day after. And you'll probably win on that trade, and then you'll just recoup the loss. And at that point, you'll be at break even or at a slight profit. And then from there, we have the rest of the week ahead of us. And hopefully the rest of the days are positive, and then you'll just end up in profit by the end of the week. So yeah, just keep that in mind. If you guys ever get in late, or if you got in late for sure, I would just pull out in profit or at break even. And then you're just going to scrap that trade for the day, come back the next day fresh, and run it back. So let me scroll up the chat over here and just make sure I'm not missing out on anything real quick. All right, so let's start off with Maria. So Maria said, I just understood what my mistake was with NinjaTrader. I was in the trader panel of the simulator account. Does anyone know how to delete this sim? I don't think you can. It's just there. So unfortunately, you can't delete it, Maria. And you just got to make sure that, so the first thing you do when you open your NinjaTrader is make sure that you have it on your actual Apex account, not your sim. That's the first thing I do as well, because it always opens up to the sim by default. So the first thing I do whenever I open up my NinjaTrader is I make sure that my Apex account is what's executing. I make sure that all my copiers are on. I pretty much set everything up before the live session even starts, like probably 30 minutes before, just to make sure. And then once you have all that set up, then you'll know for sure that you're only trading on the Apex account. So that's just my word of advice. That's pretty much what I do for the most part. Let's see, Joshua said he entered the trade in TraderBait. A screen popped up confirming the trade, and once the position was already at 86,600, looks like correct entry was 38,607. Yeah, if it's your first trade on TraderBait, it gives you that confirmation button. That happened to me the first time I took a trade as well, Joshua. Same with my copier. And I think the same situation happened to me too. So if I scroll up to like the first day I took, a trade on my Apex, I had the same exact, yeah, you can see over here. So these trades over here had a loss, or that wasn't the first trade. Or was it? It might have been. But I had the same situation because I entered the trade and then it had that confirmation button. So as soon as I hit the confirmation, it entered me in super late. And that's kind of what happened, I think, with you and with a lot of people here. So just make sure that you guys test it out first. Like, even if you have to execute it on a sim account, take some tester trades before you take it on the real account. That's kind of what happened with me, I believe, like right here on my copier. Yeah, because everything else entered, but these two were like, they were just late because my confirmation button came up. I think this was the first day I used my copier. So it happens, I had the same mistake as well. It's all trial and error from there. So let's see. Yeah, Song said he missed the entry, so he skipped the trade, which is smart. If you miss the trade, guys, just skip it, right? There's no need to get greedy. You guys got to remember that it's going to come up again tomorrow, or the next day. So if you ever miss the trade and you know it's already too late, don't bother trying to get in late, unless you're getting in for a discount. Like say, for example, you got in late here, it didn't hit TP, it retraced up super hard, and you still want to get into the position, then yeah, get in for a discount if you really, really want to get into the position. But in my opinion, I'd recommend to just skip the trade because if you're going to get into the trade late, like up here, you're already FOMOing into the trade, right? That's FOMO. And that's what you guys don't want to have. You don't want to have FOMO. You don't want to have revenge trading. You want to get in where you're supposed to and just be able to repeat that process pretty much every single day. So it's all good. Again, like the slippage happened today for everybody. So some people got in at the proper point. Some people got in late, some people got in early, but it's okay. Hopefully the next couple of days will be a lot smoother and we don't have these spiky candles like we did today. Let's see. Yeah, Cameron said his was below 12, which is crazy. That's super far slippage. Yeah, and Rashida said move stop loss to and TP to where it should be. Yeah, exactly. Should always be where it's supposed to be. You should never adjust your TP stop loss. Your TP stop loss should be where it's supposed to be at all times. Delicia said her entry put her in lower due to how volatile the candles were and made her stop loss shorter. She didn't want to move her stop loss because it worked really hard. Yeah, because she's worked really hard in that part of her trade psychology. So she got stopped out, but she still consider it a psychological win, which I agree with you too, Delicia, 100%. Like Delicia over here, she got in late, but she didn't want to move her stop loss because she knew that's where her stop loss was supposed to be. So unfortunately, she got stopped out because I think for some of you guys, if you got in like pretty late, like I think Cameron over here got in like super late. So the entry happened. Let me just measure it. So if you got in even 5 points at a difference, because the entry is right here. So if you got in at 5 points, you probably would have gotten stopped out. Yeah. So you barely would have gotten stopped out. It like barely touched it and then it came right back down. So yeah, just for future reference, guys. But it's all good. It happens. It's part of trading. Mistakes are going to be made, whether it's going to be your fault or not. Like for example, if I lost this trade, I would have taken responsibility for it, even if it wasn't my fault, because I did get in a little late, like down here. Well, not late, but the slippage got me too. And if I lost this trade, even though I knew I was supposed to get in right here, I still would have taken responsibility for it because that's the only way to accept that things like this happen in the market. Let me scroll down real quick. Kevin said, would it be okay to re-enter if price comes back to proper entry point or just wait for the next entry? So you can do that. Yeah, Kevin. So for example, price came down, then it came right back up. Then you can have a sell stop right there to catch it as it comes back down. Yeah, you can do that. That's one way to do it. Some people will get it for a discount. Like for example, if you saw a V1 pattern up here, people would have seen the reversal and they would have gotten in from up here actually. So it's just up to preference, but yeah, if the trade hasn't hit TP or stop loss, and it's either at a discount or it's at break-even point, the actual entry, you can still enter it. Because if this is your one entry for the day, you're pretty much, it would have been the same difference if you would have got in at an actual entry price, right? Because price would have came up and regardless, like for me, I was holding on to this for a while until it came right back down to TP. So either way, you could wait for the pullback or you can get in and put a sell stop right here to catch it, come right back down to your TP. Yeah, Juice said if you close manually, the counts usually are all different profits, but if it hits TP, it's usually the same. Yeah, and I agree with you too, Drew. I didn't let it hit TP today because this was kind of throwing me off with the big candles. Yeah, Delisi said, I like your suggestion. At least close in profit, move stop loss to break even if that happens. Yeah, and that'll help with your trade psychology as well. Yeah, William says just one of those days he had an issue with FTMO Quick Trade Manager, which induced registration. Yeah, which happens, which led to a late entry, and he got barely stopped out, which he understands is just part of business. Yeah, that's just how it is. Yeah, Patricia said FTMO is tough. Today had the same issues. Yeah, it seems like William and Patricia had the same issues. It seems like it was a problem that was just across the board. It was an issue with FTMO, it was an issue with Apex. It was just market. Market was very choppy today. It was very blocky, and it was like there was just a lot of slippage, no matter what platform you're using. So it's all good. Ryan said that you can save your settings charts as a workspace on NinjaTrader so that it opens to what you used the day before. Nice. So I'll try to set that up after this. Shannon said I logged in on PC. Where is the spreadsheet? Yeah, so the spreadsheet would be, I'll post a link over here in the Zoom, Shannon. And if you want to find it, you just go over here to the 2024 live official live trades. It's going to be the second post where it says blank template. I'll just copy it and I'll post it in here as well if you guys want it. There goes a blank spreadsheet. Once you guys open this, so once you open it, this is what the spreadsheet's going to look like. Go over here to File, go to make a copy, and then it'll make a copy on your Discord. And that's how you can update your spreadsheet. So I'll update my spreadsheet here as well. So my trade over here. See this over here real quick. So I got too many windows open right now. Move this chat over here. All right, where is my spreadsheet? Official trades. I should just use my other window because I'm not using MT4 anymore. So I have another window up here now where I can just drag step over. But anyways, let me just copy this over real quick. So I took the trade at 641 for a sell. So guys, here's an example of how to update your spreadsheet. So for my trade today, I took this trade at today is February 5th, 2024. You can just put the numbers in, it'll populate as a full date. The entry that I took over here was at 641. So I'm gonna type in 641 right there. Obviously, you guys know this trade was a sell position, so I'm gonna put a 1 here for the sell. It was a win. It was a full TP, 25 points. 1 trade for the day, or for that specific trade. I'm gonna put PRB here so I know it's strategy. And then for the markup, I'm gonna go over here. So if you want to take a markup of your trade, you just go over here to your chart where it's marked up. You click on this camera button, click copy link. I already have it linked, so I'm not going to take another screenshot. And then I will put this over here under my markup. Then since this was a win, I'm going to go and color the screen. And once you update that, your numbers down here will populate. So we have 3 wins for the month so far. February, 0 losses. We had 2 sells, 1 buy, total profit of 75 points. We had 3 wins back to back or 5 wins actually back to back for the PRB entry. That's pretty much how you'd mark it up. If you want to put notes here, so for example, if you got a loss for this, you can color this red, put this -25, and then for your notes you can just put got in late. Next time, close in profit or break even, right? You can just put that there so that you can put a note. But the good thing, I think the best part about this is just the markup, because you guys can always look back to it. Like for example, on the January 17th, I took a loss. I can just pull this up and I'm like, okay, what did I do wrong here? Oh, I probably shouldn't have taken this trade, right? Because it just spiked up on me. So that's where it's going to come into help, because it's going to to show you where everything's at. Um, Shannon said to keep it simple, can you see my chart online? Yeah, you could. You can just, so what you can do here is you can click share, and then you'll just put, if you just want people to look at it, you can just put viewer, anyone with link, copy the link, and then you can post your link in the, like every day, you can just post your link in the Discord. So if you want to post it over here in the mentorship group, you can just do that as well. And then if you want to share with people, you can do that. And then everybody will have a link to it. Ross said, mine is not updating the info at the top. So this one over here isn't going to automatically populate. You'll have to do this manually. So what I do is I just update this at the end of every month, Ross. So your actual chart here will be populated. And then at the end of the month, because, obviously you're going to make changes and stuff, that's where you'd make the changes. So like, for example, here at the end of January, I just ended up putting these up here. And then at the end of February, I'll just add this to there. So for example, if I have like 10 buys, I'll just add 10 buys there, sells, wins, losses, profit, trades. And then in order to get this formula for the win-loss ratio, you're just going to do the wins divided by total trades, right? So for example, 14 divided by 15, because for January we had 14 wins, divided by 15 total trades, total win-loss ratio of 93.3. And we'll get to that at the end of the month. So once we update this, I'll show you guys how to do it at the end of the month. The only math you really need to do is wins divided by total trades, and that's going to be your win-loss ratio. Right, you know what? I can actually, I'll figure out a way to, let's see. So this is E4 divided by H4. I can just copy the formula. There we go. So now you don't really have to do anything. You just have to change the numbers up here. And I can probably update the formula too to have, the wins and the losses, but it's not that difficult. You just got to add them on there. All right. So other than that, let me scroll up and see what else we've got over here. All right, Drew, we'll see you back here on Wednesday. Let me scroll up. I just want to make sure we're not missing out on anything here. Yeah, and Patricia said, don't forget it was Monday after NFP, which is usually wacky. Yeah, and I agree with you too, 100%. I'm surprised that it came down because usually it's been pretty bullish for the for Mondays. Gotcha. Yeah, no problem, Randy. Yeah, if you get in late, you can either enter at a discount or you can enter at actual price. So the only time I would enter at a discount is if we had a V1 pattern. So if I see a reversal pattern, then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get in from there. But if not, I'll just leave my sell stop right here to get in when I'm supposed to, so that I'm not really getting greedy on the entry. Yeah, and Gian said, don't be upset for the right setup, entry, win or loss. Rather be mad for the entry with no setup. Exactly, yeah. So as long as the setup is there, take a trade because we've already tested the strategy. We know that it works. So as long as you follow it to the T, you should have no problem with, taking the trade, maybe getting in, maybe not getting in. But as long as the setup's there, if you take a random trade, then you should for sure be mad at yourself because there's no entry there. But if there's a setup and you lose the trade, it's fine. It's just part of the game. Let's see. Nikki's question over here is, would you have taken it after news at 6:45? So Nikki says, would you have taken it after news at 6 or before 7? Yeah, no, I would have taken it. I mean, possibly. It just kind of depends on what was happening here, Nikki. So like the news happened over here at 6:45, and then you can kind of see how the price was just going sideways. In a situation like this, I probably wouldn't have taken it, right? Because the news happened right here at 6:45. Because typically you want to see a market react to the news, right? So between 6:45 and 7, say for example, the entry came up, like say right here, right at 6:53, and the news is going to happen again at 7, which is high impact. In a situation like this, I probably wouldn't have taken it. If it happened like super quickly, like super early over here, and price wasn't going sideways, you can kind of see price was already going sideways from from the start of market open, right? It was in a range from the to begin with. So in a situation like this, I probably wouldn't trade because it's such a short period of time. But it just depends on like what's happening. Because usually when news happens, it'll like spike up and then come right back down, right? Or it'll spike down and come right back up, right? So you usually get some sort of movement when news happens, but there was no movement here. Let me check the news at 6:45. Yeah, the news was high impact, so it should have moved, but it didn't really move too much. So it kind of just depends on how market reacts to the news event. For example, here it's not really moving, so I wouldn't have taken any trades between here and 7 because it was such a short period of time in between. But yeah, so guys, if there's any questions regarding like putting in your trade journal, feel free to let me know. I think for the most part, it's pretty self-explanatory. You're just going to be inputting your entries in there. And then I think probably like by the end of the week, we'll cover like more in detail. Like we'll look over the entire trade journal. I think looking at it daily is kind of pointless because unless you guys want to, if you guys want to cover your trade journal, let me know. So if you guys want to share your trade journal and you want me to take a look at it, or you want anybody else to take a look at it, I think this will help you guys stay accountable. Like for example, if today you made a mistake and you took a bad trade or you took something that wasn't there, posting it over here in the mentoring group will allow other people to kind of critique your trading journal, right? I know it's going to suck because a lot of people don't want to be critiqued, but this is the only way you'll get better. If you share you share your losses, you share your wins, it's going to help other people kind of feel okay, right? Because I know, everybody wants to show the wins, but people don't want to show the losses. If you're okay with showing both wins and losses, you're going to become a stronger trader because you're going to be okay with taking losses and you're gonna feel how much it sucks to take a trade that could have been avoided. So yeah, exactly. William said the best thing you can do for yourself is to be honest. Yeah, that's really what it is. Because we don't know what happens behind the scenes. We don't know what happens when you guys get off this live session, if you guys continue to trade and blow your account. But if you guys are able to just stick to the game plan, one trade a day, if you're taking the PRB, you'll be perfectly fine because you'll know exactly what wins and what loses, and then you'll learn from your mistakes. So other than that, let's see. Yeah, Randy said I was able to enter right on the entry because you mentioned if it closed red, it would be an entry and that really helped. Yeah, exactly. I agree 100%. And Kevin said, I don't take trades after 8, but can you look at the V1 at 804? Would it have needed to come up further to reject off the resistance? Yes, we'll take a look at that. So let's just cover the official trades real quick that came up today, and then we'll go over the other stuff. So let's go over here real quick. The first official trade that came up, this took a while to hit, was over here at 741. So if you guys can see this here, this was a breakout V3 continuation with confluence. So if I go back real quick and replay this, so you guys can see that the first thing that we look for when we're looking for these entries is a V1 pattern, right? So you can see there's a V1 pattern over here that happened right before the entry. There was a double body rejection. This confirmed a reversal pattern. And then the entry actually happened down here where we had the sell signal. So we had the sell signal, bearish trend, following red candle. This was a breakout V3 continuation. I didn't take the trade myself, but I believe Maddie took it. And it went straight to full TP right there. So that's the first official entry that came up today, other than the PRB. The second entry that came up was actually, there wasn't a second entry. There was only one entry that came up today, I think. Or was it right here? I can't remember. Actually, I think it was right here. Actually, no. Okay, this is the one that Kevin's actually asking for. So we'll come back and take a look at that. But I think there was only one official entry that came up today. It was this one and then the PRB. So if you guys are following this here and took the breakout V3 continuation, this was a breakout V3 continuation with confluence. And that's pretty much it. We only had 2 official entries for the day. It was the PRB entry and the breakout V3 continuation. So depending if you just want to take the breakouts or V1s, then you can just take these entries here. If you want to take both with the RPB, with the PRB, sorry, you can take both of the trades, right? You had 2 wins for today. If you took this one and you took this one here. It's just really up to preference. I think these trades are going to end up being just like extras because I think this will pretty much lead the profits for the week because it's such a bigger entry. This will lead the profits and the breakout V3 continuations and V1 variations are just going to be extra profit because it's only 100 pips. So you add that onto the 25 that's already locked in, and you just kind of build off that. So, and this entry typically comes up first. So everything is going to build off this for the most part. So let's see. Jeff said at 750. So there's no entry here at 750 because there was no V1 pattern that it bounced off of. So there'd have to be another V1 pattern like right here, Jeff, in order for this V1 to be, because you'd have to have that confluence there. You'd have to have a V1 and then another V1 right after it. We were looking for that, but it just never came up. All right, so let me scroll up. I'll go over that question that Kevin had. So Kevin's talking about the trade that happened at 820, or sorry, 804. 804, which was, so you said there was a V1 entry at 804, which is right here. Okay. So this right here, it's a tight one, but if this happened during like, and this is why I don't trade after 8 o'clock, because you can see the volatility die down right here, right? Kevin. So this is like barely touching it. Typically, I want it to at least like kind of like be a little more obvious. But yeah, if you really wanted to take this trade, but again, this is a reason why I don't trade after 8 o'clock because you can see the volatility is super slow now. This is a V1 pattern. It's just it depends on the person, right? If it was me personally, I probably wouldn't have taken it. But depending on the person, if they saw this as a rejection off the structure, because typically you want it to actually at least touch it, like cut into it at least, not like be right on the line. But this here was a V1 pattern. So we had a V1 pattern right here with the V1 confluence. And this is kind of what we were talking about with what you mentioned, Jeff. So at 750, there was no previous V1 here. So there's no entry for the V1 because there's no confluence. For this one right here, there was a confluence. The only problem is that it was after 8 o'clock. So the volatility here was a lot slower. But if you were to take a trade right here, we can mark this up. 1030 and we'll see if it plays through. All right, sorry, wrong thing. 1030, and it looks like it barely touches it right there, Kevin. So again, this is just another example of why I don't trade after 8 because the volatility is so low, you can get faked out very easily. And it looks like if you didn't get out and you didn't pull out when you were supposed to, price would have reversed on you. But yes, this would technically be considered a V1 variation with confluence, but the only problem is that it happened so late. So I think if there was a little more volatility, this would have spiked out even further and then probably went back up. So I wouldn't take it, but yeah, if you're looking for a V1 pattern, that is a V1 pattern right there that happened right after 8 o'clock. All right, so Ross said I had slippage, so it was a $28 win on the PRV. How should I note that on the spreadsheet? So on your spreadsheet, you should put, I don't know how many points that is. Let's see. I would probably round it. So do you know what your typical profit would be, Ross? On the PRV, so if it was a full TP? Okay, so your typical profit would be 2,500. We would divide that by, you made 28. Or sorry, let's do the other way. 28 divided by 2,500. So you probably put like 1 point. So for your profit, you just put 1 point there because it's like not even, it's like very minuscule. You would just put 1 point, and then for your note, you would just put you had slippage, and then you either got out early or that was where your TP was because you got in so late. And you just put a note of it so that you'll understand and you'll know the difference because you look at your spreadsheet and you'll see that one trade has like way different profit. and then you'll have a note there. So that'll help you in the future because if you want to look back in the future and you just want to pull up your spreadsheet, like, okay, this is like where this situation happened, you'll know in the future. So if you have the same problem where you get stuck in slippage and in the future, you're like, okay, if that's the situation, then maybe you should just skip that trade if you get caught in slippage, or you should pull out early and profit, like how I mentioned. Because that's kind of how you build off it. You just kind of adapt with the market. You start to have some sort of game plan when you get hit with slippage. So, I mean, when you get hit with slippage, you have like three options, right? You either close out immediately and profit, you either put your stop loss at break even, or you can hold on to it. So what you can do is like with all the trades that you hit slippage, you'll just have note of it for every trade. If you end up having more wins when you hold on to it, when you have slippage, then in the future, just hold on to it. If you have more losses, then you can just either pull out early or close at break even. And that's just kind of how you adapt to the market because everyone handles slippage differently, right? Sometimes people will freak out and they don't know what to do. Some people, like for me, for example, I kind of held on to it because I knew like it was probably going to come back down. But then once it got down to profit, I just pulled out in profit because I already was not feeling comfortable with the position. So yeah, exactly. So you exited early. You'll just put that in your notes. So you'll put in your notes, got hit with slippage, exited early for profit. And then because this is going to happen again, this isn't the last time it'll happen. It'll probably happen, countless more times throughout the year. And you'll just get better at managing your position once you get caught in a situation like that. So, all right, let's see. Question from Hawk. Hawk is asking, would you still be okay for us to trade after the live session or after the mentoring session? Not during not during this mentoring cycle, Hawk, because the whole point of this cycle is to get you in the proper mindset to understand, when to start and when to stop. Because the biggest problem with a lot of people who trade is that you'll make a lot of profit with me during the live session and then you'll blow it all after the live session. It's like a common reoccurrence. I've seen this with so many people. They'll make profit between 6:30 and 8, and they decide to get greedy and continue trading from like 8 until 12, and then they blow all the profits or they end up blowing their account completely. So for the duration of this mentoring session, I would recommend that you just stick to what we're doing during the live session. Um, in the future, if you decide to trade later, then that's fine because then you're going to find your sweet spot. My sweet spot is 6:30 to 8. Some people are good between 8 and 10. Some people are good between 10 and 12, right? Because 6:30 to 8 is opening. That's when high volatility is. Some people like to trade in a sideways market, so they want to trade between like 8 and 10. Some people want to trade in an opposite market where the market reverses. So that's going to be between 10 and 12. So it just depends on the person who's trading. But for now, you just want to get your mindset proper where you can understand like, okay, this is my trading time where I'm most profitable. And I just want to stay trading between 6:30 and 8. But then, say by month two and you figure out that, okay, you want to keep trading, but you're still able to stay profitable. Then at month two, that's when the training wheels come off because we won't be having these live sessions, these mentoring sessions every day. So I'm not going to be checking on you guys every day and you guys can kind of do what you want. And then people are going to go in different paths, right? Some people who stick to the game plan are going to be more successful than others. Some people who kind of veer off and do their own thing, they might even be more successful because they're trading during more time, or they might blow their account, right? So everyone's going to kind of, there's going to be a fork in this mentorship. For whoever sticks to the game plan, you're probably going to be profitable because you're doing only what I'm doing. You're going to be profitable regardless by the end of the mentorship. The people who kind of want to do their own thing after, that's completely fine. They can do their own thing, but they're either going to do really well or they're going to do really bad because they're going to be doing their own thing. And we'll still be meeting like every week. So at the end of the week, we'll check everybody's spreadsheets and we'll just see what everybody's doing. If you start to fall off, then obviously I'll help you try to get back on track. And if you're doing great, then just keep doing what you're doing. But everybody's going to learn and everyone's going to be doing things differently at different periods of time. So let's see. Randy said there was a momentum pullback scalp, but there was a red flag and it was overextended. I don't think there'd be a momentum pullback scalp right here, Randy, because it would have to be past the sell signal, right? Yeah, let's see. I'm gonna try to look that up on our chart because it would have to be below the let me go to this chart over here. Yeah, so there would be no entry right here. Let me just go over here real quick. I'll replay it. So in order for it to be a momentum pullback scalp, the level has to be past the momentum. So there would be no entries right here. The entry would happen right here, actually. A little lower down, Randy. This is actually where it would have happened. Because the entry has to be below the momentum, right? So, I mean, if you took the entry down here, it still would have worked. Or even if that didn't get filled, it would have been this one down here. So like say, for example, this didn't push up far enough and didn't fill your order, then you could have gotten in from right here because it still would have came down, retraced. You get in at this level, then it would come down lower from there. Yeah, your market over here was like way up here, so it'd be impossible because it has to be below the momentum signal. Yeah, exactly. It'd be super overextended in a situation like that. I wouldn't have even bothered to take a look at the momentum pullback scalp. I mean, it's good, but it's only good if it's actually pushing that direction, right? There's no way we could really predict that it was going to keep climbing down. That's why for me, I was even kind of worried about the PRB entry because it dropped down so heavy right here. I wasn't sure if price was going to continue dropping or if it was going to reverse back up, right? So, all right, Kenneth, we'll see you back here tomorrow or Wednesday, actually. All right, Unity, I'll see you back here on Wednesday. Again, guys, there's no live session tomorrow and no mentoring session. I have to go to the dentist in San Diego, which is a city away. It's about like an hour, 2 hour drive down south. So I'm not going to be able to be on the live session, unfortunately. I got to leave here at like 6:30 to be there by 8. So let's see. Ross is asking if anybody has tried Funded Next. No, I've never tried them before. If they're not a futures broker, then I wouldn't use them. Let me pull them up real quick. Let's see. Let's take a look. Because I'm also I'm not looking to take anything yet, but I'm going to be looking for other companies. It probably wouldn't be Funded Next. I'd probably be using Top Step. So what assets does Funded Next trade? It doesn't look like a futures, so I wouldn't even bother using them if that's the case. It looks like a regular Forex broker, so I wouldn't use them. They're gonna fall into the same situation as TFF. So let's see, does it show what symbols they offer? Um, why's your website so crappy? The website's so slow. Um, yeah, it doesn't really show what assets. Okay, if they're trading US 30, then I definitely wouldn't recommend using them because they're just gonna get shut down too, just like everybody else. You can't trade US 30 in the US, so I wouldn't recommend it. Um, I mean, you can risk it if you want to risk it. If you think you can pass your challenge super quickly and then get some payouts real quick, then by all means, go ahead. But eventually, a lot of these funding companies are just going to get shut down. Anybody who offers US 30 to US clients is going to get shut down. Um, you'd have to use something that offers futures, which would be like Top Step. I think there's another one called Take Profit Trader. Uh, there's a handful of them. There's a decent amount. But I mean, I wouldn't bother going through those until you've like maxed out your Apex accounts, right? Because the thing is, your copier is native to your Apex account. So unless you have your Apex maxed out, there's no reason to really do anything else. Because I don't even know if it'll copy to the other account. I haven't tried it out yet. So until you're like fully funded with Apex, I wouldn't recommend even doing anything else. Because it's going to be the same situation. You'd have to get funded with them, and then you have to figure out how to copy your trades across. Unless you're trading them manually, then that's a different story. But I wouldn't even dare trade them manually. It's so much work um, to be done. So I would try to figure out a way to max out my Apex. That's going to be step one. Once I'm on 20 accounts with Apex, then I'll probably go over to Top Step and I'll just I'll figure out a way to copy my Apex trades to my Top Step. And then I think there's like 3 or 4 other futures funding companies that are available. And then I'll probably just fund my own personal account and I'll copy that as well. Yeah, Nicholas also mentioned trade day. Yeah, I've heard of trade day too. I get their advertisement like every day on my YouTube. It's like they know that I'm looking for a futures prop firm. So yeah, there's a lot of them. I mean, you can just let me Google it real quick. So let's see, futures trading prop firm. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of them. Yeah, so there's Top Step, Take Profit Trader, Living from Trading. I don't know. There's a lot of them here. But obviously, I'm gonna use Apex first because I'm already on my way to getting funded on those accounts, and it's like the easiest because I know how to use them. So there's a whole bunch, guys. There's a lot to choose from. But if you want to use what everybody else is using, I think Apex would be the best option, at least for now. Yeah, C6 said there's hundreds of futures prop firms out there, but he likes the ones that pay. Exactly. So I know Apex pays because we have other people in the group. Um, there's other people in the group that have been paid out, and I've seen their bank statements and I've seen the actual wires. So I trust Apex that they will pay out, and that's why I'm going to use them. I know TopStep pays out too, but I'm already on Apex. So until I max out my Apex, I'm not going to move on to other platforms. Yeah, Randy said people were freaking out last Friday because NFP was overperforming. A lot of people anticipated for it was going to have a heavy drop today. Yeah, exactly. You can kind of predict where price is going to go. Like usually Mondays are bullish, but yeah, because of the heavy push last week, it ended up just dumping right back down. Let's see. Donovan's asking, is there anyone else struggling to set up their Apex with NinjaTrader? It was pretty simple for me, Donovan. So what's your issue with setting it up? I could probably help you through it. Or if you want to share your screen, you can share your screen too. But I think I can probably just walk you through it, like where you stuck at, because they give pretty detailed. Here, let me see if I can pull it up on Apex. On Apex, they give you on the FAQs, they kind of break it down for you pretty simple. So let's see, NinjaTrader, and let's see, is Miriam on here too? Miriam, if you can tell me like what your problem is too, I can help you as well. I just can't get on a one-on-one with you later because I'm already kind of going past my schedule for today. I'm already at 9 o'clock, so it's I'm gonna be busy later today, trying to catch up on my day since I'm on this mentoring session with you guys. But let's see. So if you want to, okay. So with your NinjaTrader, unfortunately, I can't pull it up on my computer, but so here, let's set up a connection guide. You might not have it set up with your account. So with your NinjaTrader, so did you go through all of this right here already, Donovan? So you've already set it up. You've got the platform. You imported your key. You've logged into your Tradeovate. You've done all that, right? I just want to make sure you've done all of this right here because there's a whole step-by-step process to link your account. It seems like you didn't link your account yet. So if you scroll down here, it shows you how to link it. You go to options, you put multi-provider, you go to configure, you put your Apex account there, and then connect on startup, and then it should show all your accounts right here. Like once you go to connections and you click on NinjaTrader. Okay, so if your account's not linked, you have to go back over here. I'll put this guide over here in the chat because it's pretty straightforward. Like once you do this, it's like it's already on there, and you don't have to do this anymore. Like you just have to do it once, and every time you buy a new account, it just adds up to your your NinjaTrader. Like whenever you buy an account, it's just going to show up like another account will populate on your NinjaTrader. So yeah, just follow this right here, Donovan. Just scroll down to the bottom. If you've already installed NinjaTrader and you have everything lined up, just scroll down here to step 9. And when you log into step 9, you go to tools, options, click on multi-provider. You go to connections right here, go to configure. You put in your Apex account. You double click NinjaTrader right here. You hit apply, okay. And then once you have that set up, you should be able to see this right here under your connection. Once you click on NinjaTrader, it'll show all of your accounts Let me see. I'll pull up it on mine too. So under connections, yeah, I got a My Ninja Trader, and it has all of my 8 accounts on there. And then you go to tools, market data. It's just a step-by-step process. Once you like check all this stuff off, then you should be able to see this under your connections. So just go through that, Donovan. If you still have issues, let me know and I'll try to walk you through it. Unfortunately, it's on my laptop right here. So I can't really show you on my screen because I can't share the screen on there, but it's on my laptop. So I can't really share my screen with you guys, unfortunately, because then I'd have to disconnect off my Mac. So Miriam, if you want to chime in so I can help you with your login, I'm not sure what your issue is with logging in. I do see that you're here. It's all good, Donovan. I know when you first do it, it's kind of confusing because it's all new to you. It was new to me too when I first did it, and I want to try to making mistakes. But once you set it up once, you're pretty much good to go. That's all you have from there. Um, yeah, Miriam, I'll just wait for you to see if you can tell me like what the issue is with logging in, and then I can try to help walk you through it. But if not, I mean, we can do this another day as well if you want to just keep paper trading for now. But all right, let me scroll up real quick and I'll see what else is missing. All right, so scrolling down, Jeff is asking, is MPF reliable? The instrument they use is called DJI. I wouldn't use anything that's a CFD. That's still a CFD. If it's not YM or MYM, then it's not a future. So, I mean, you can try them out. And I don't know where you're located, Jeff. If you're in the US, then I wouldn't even bother trying any of those other companies because they're going to, they're all going to close out US clients. I think they'll be available to people who are overseas. Like FTMO is fine with like people who are overseas, but for US clients, I think everyone's going to get kicked out. Like nobody's going to accept US clients who offer CFDs because they're not allowed. Yeah, no, I mean you, Jeff. So if you're in the US, you're affected. If you're not in the US, then you might be okay with trading with these other, Forex industry companies. But it doesn't really matter where the company's located. I mean, if it's located in Singapore, you might even be in after seeing like the Senate kind of try to tear up, well, what's his name? The CEO of TikTok. I mean, if any Chinese or Singaporean company or any company that's like in Asia, I feel like the US is gonna have some sort of problem with them. So I'd probably stay away from any funding companies that are located out there. Yeah, exactly. You're the Singaporean senator. Yeah, when the senator kept asking him if he was like Chinese or if he's communist, he's like, bro, I'm Singaporean. You guys have probably seen that video. The US has a big problem with like China right now. So any company in China or even Singapore has certain like they can't they can't tell the difference, which is fucked up. I mean, it's messed up, but like they kind of just tie the two together. So if it's a company that's like located in Asia and especially a funding company, I mean, the US will probably shut down connection to them as well. So depending on where you guys are located, if you're located in the US, I wouldn't bother using any more of the Forex-based companies. So any company that offers US 30, DJ 30, DJI, any of those kind of companies or any of those kind of assets, I wouldn't use them because they're not allowed for US traders. For the longest time, they allowed for it to like just kind of go under the rug. But now the US is like, or I don't know if it's the US or the SEC or whatever it may be, they're starting to crack down on these funding companies. So I'd be careful. Like for example, US 30 used to be on Awanda over here. I think ACAP's like one of the companies that's gonna a lot of funding companies use ACAP. So they're gonna get pretty much kick everybody off the US. Everyone that's part of the US. Blackpool, I don't know about Blackpool. I've heard that there's some funding companies that are using them, but that they're probably gonna kick out US clients as well. They're just not gonna carry US clients. That's just what it is. So yeah, unfortunately, that's just the situation, and that's why I'm going to stick with any of these future companies instead. So let me scroll over here real quick. Yeah, I think that's it for the day, guys. Let me check the list again. So we covered the official trades. We covered, well, there wasn't any trades that we didn't take today because everything came up was official. And then we identified the momentum pullback scalp entries as well. So I think we pretty much covered a majority of the stuff. This is kind of like what our mentoring sessions will look like after the live. We'll go over the official trades. We'll cover trades that weren't taken but came up. We didn't have any today, so there's nothing to cover. And then we'll cover any other trades that you guys identified if there's something else that you guys saw. Like for example, the momentum pullback scalp that that a lot of people kind of saw throughout the day. Like this one that came up over here, and there's another one that came up down here as well. There's two momentum pullback scalps that certain people like to trade, but it's not one of the official entries, so it's not necessarily something that we're going to be focusing on. So, all right, guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to pop into the chat. Miriam, if you're still here and you want me to show you how to log in, feel free to let me know. I'll try to help you as well as I can. I just need to figure out like what the problem is with logging in, because we can't do the full setup like we did the first time. Once you set up the account, just like what Donovan's doing right now, once you set up the account, okay, Miriam, so what's the problem with your account then? If you want me to help you right now. So where's the issue with logging in? So I can kind of pinpoint where I can help you. Like you try to log in and it says you have the wrong password. Are you okay? So you got it figured out. Okay, I just want to make sure that everything was figured out because I thought you still had an issue with logging in. All right, so I think that's it for today then. So guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to pop into the chat. Otherwise, just a reminder, there's going to be no live session tomorrow. Let's see, Madhu said, since we don't have a live session tomorrow, do you mind going back to January 16, 17, going over your analysis for the PRV? Yeah, sure, of course. So let's go over here real quick. So let's go back to January 16. Kind of give you guys like a little gist of like how it looks, like how we did the other day. But it's all going to come with through practice because it's like when I look at the PRV entry, I don't really think about a lot of stuff. I kind of just see the pattern come up and then I take a trade. It's very discretionary because there's a lot of different areas to enter from, but we're all looking for the same pattern. We're looking for price to push in the direction of the trend, look for retracement, look for price to kind of consolidate a little bit. And then we look for the correction back in the direction of trend. So let me see if I can go back over here. 16th, it's pretty far back. All right, let's see. So Medusa said the 17th and the 16th. So let's go over here to the 17th real quick. Go over here. I'll do it real time so that you can, or I'll do it like when it actually came up. So right here, the trend is bearish. Now price starts to climb up. So the first thing I'm looking for is the trend, right, Madhu? That's the main thing I'm looking for first. Until the trend has been confirmed, I'm not looking for any retracement. Okay, so the trend here is now confirmed, right? And you just see the retracement right here. Let's see. All right, so the trend shifted right here. I would consider this right here the retracement because it just happened right on this candle. So I probably wouldn't count this as a retracement because price is still pushing up. Then we do have the retracement right here, right? Well, one of these candles, basically this red one retraced down. Okay, so this right here might be the space. I know it's like it's like sometimes you'll see a smaller doji, but right here is a bigger body doji. This right here would be the space for me. Price pushed up, the trend over here confirmed, it retraced right here on this red candle where price pulled down, came back up, now went sideways over here a little bit. And then at this point right here, this is where I would consider the space. So I'm looking for price to basically swing back up. Okay, Okay, right here now I'm starting to see price swing back up, Medu. This is kind of hard for you to like really tell unless you know what I'm looking at. But again, we'll just look at a couple of things here. Trend confirmed, price pushed up, this red candle retraced down. This right here would be the little doji thing. It's not a little doji, it's more like a big body doji, but you can see the wick on the top and the wick on the bottom is like the same size. So price does go sideways here for a little bit. Price then comes down lower, it pushes up higher. This right here, I don't really see the strongness of the candle yet, but the price does push up a little bit right here, two green candles. I'm kind of using a mixture of different analysis that I've used in the past. And this is where my entry would be for the PRB, full TP right there. Does that make sense, Madhu? I know it probably doesn't make full sense, but I think you can kind of see the pattern that I'm looking for here. I look for the trend. That's the first thing I look for. Price retraces on this red candle. I see not a doji, but it's a sideways candle basically. And then it pushes up right here. I mean, if you want to get in super early, you could, but I don't think you'd be able to really predict that this is going to push up. So I think right here is where I start to see price. The reason why I see this pushing up is because it's starting to push past this candle right here, right? Pushes past the retracement candle there. And then it climbs up. And I'm just kind of using different confluences here to identify it. And then when I see this candle right here close, I'm like, okay, price is probably going to push up to break through it. And that's where I take the entry, or where I would have taken the entry on the 16th or the 17th. Now let's take a look at the 16th real quick. I'll show you one more example. And you guys can kind of see my thought process a little better when I break it down from when the entry actually happens. So again, right here on the, yeah, it's a PRB, Maddie. That was a PRB for the 16th, for the 17th. I'm showing, I'm gonna do the PRB entries for the 16th and 17th. So you can see some examples on here. So that was on the 17th, it worked out perfect. And then again, right here, let's go back to 6:30. I'll just break it down from when the entry comes up. Again, there's no trend here yet. Price comes down a little bit. Okay, at this point, there is now a trend, right? So the trend happened right here. At this point, you can see the level 4 pivot is above all the other pivots. We've confirmed the trend right here. You're now looking for the retracement. There goes the retracement right there, a huge green candle. Now you're looking for the space that we were talking about before. See if I can find. Okay, so here's the space, Madhu. So it makes a lot of sense. Like once you just look at the same things that I'm looking at, so trend, look for the retracement. We got the space right there. There goes your doji. Now you just want the price to turn back around. You want it to keep retracing up, but you want it to turn around. So price is retracing up. Yeah, so price retraced up right here, and then you can see the turnaround, right? Because you can see how this was a strong green candle, but then it ended up turning back around right here. So this right here, there was a wick on top. So price kind of came up, but you can see that it wasn't very strong because it came right back down. Came up, came down. Right here, it came up strong like it was about to reverse right back up. But this candle came back down. And this is where my PRB entry would happen. And you can see it's not always going to be clean. Like this entry over here is not very clean, but you're always looking for the same pattern. You're basically just looking for price to come down in the direction of the trend, retrace and continue. But then you're looking for that in between. So the in between's right here. And once you see that retracement and turnaround, that's where your entry would be. So this is my entry for the PRB, full TP. And I didn't even look at that before it happened. Exactly. Yeah. So Maddie said you're basically looking for a drop retracement. So drop retracement, a sideways movement, and then continuation. Yeah. So you just missed one thing there, Maddie. Because that's where the space happens, right? The sideways movement. So it's actually like super, super simple. It's just there's just different things that you look at. It's very subjective when it comes up. But sometimes it'll be super, super straightforward. Like for example, right here, this doji is perfect. You could have seen the sideways movement from like a mile away. And then you just saw the retracement up. You're kind of just looking at price action. It's really just looking at price action. And then you're also using the momentum here to identify direction, right? Momentum plus trend. And that's pretty much a setup right there. Yeah, no problem, Adu. Let me scroll up real quick. I think we have a couple more questions here before we get off. Josh was asking, Pricing on his chart looks different than mine for some odd reason. Send you a screenshot. Now, let's see, Josh. Let's see. So where's the let me see where price close at. All right, let me see. So yours closed at 38. This is today, right, Josh? 38,402. Let me make sure. Okay. So you said the time was 9:14 my time. Thirty-eight. Well, yours is 38,402. Let me check the screenshot. Here, Josh, if you can go to that time, so go to that same exact time, and I'm gonna see where your timestamp is. So go to that same time where it's at 9:14, like you said. Get a horizontal line. Use this magnet tool right here, and just draw over it like that. And then yeah, because my price right there is at 38,425. And you're on the same chart, right, Josh? YM1 exclamation. And this up here is green too, right, Josh? So I'm gonna check. I'm gonna try to check everything that I can. So make sure that this here says market open. It's green. If it's yellow, that means it's delayed. So that might be the problem. Just make sure you're on YM1 as well. I can't see your symbol on your screenshot, so I'm not sure if you're on a different YM. But it looks like you're on the right one. E-mini Dow $5 futures one CBOT. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, so if you have a D next to it, then it's delayed. That's probably why your pricing is different. So if you're on Apex, just log into your if you have an Apex account, Joshua, just log into your Apex over here. So you go to Tradeovate, and then you log in and you put your Apex account. That's gonna give you real-time data because you're probably on delayed data. That's why. Yeah. So if you're on that. Otherwise, you can pay for the data too. For me, I pay for the data because I have it on multiple windows at once, but you can just log into your, you just want to make sure that it's green right here and it says market open. If it says D, then that means it's delayed. So like, for example, if I was to get on, let me see what other futures data here that I don't have. So like, say, for example, I was going to trade like solar futures. Actually, I have the data for solar futures. I don't think I pay for the extra data, so I think I'm gonna have all of it. Let me see. I'll see if there's any random data here that I don't pay for. Okay, like for example, this, like it says market close. Yeah, so yours is delayed. So yeah, the market is open, but yours is delayed because you need to log into your Apex. Did you log into it, Joshua or Josh? Okay. Yeah, when you log into it, it should go to your actual your real-time data. So it won't say delayed once you log into it because the data you technically have to pay for it. But that should fix it. Otherwise, if you want to just pay for it, it's like $7 a month. I mean, I pay for it because I have multiple charts open, but it's not really necessary if you have an Apex. You just have to have it logged in at all times for the most part. All right, Hawk, we'll see you back here on Wednesday for sure. Jeff said, which means we don't need to buy directly from TradingView the data. Yeah. So if you're just having one chart open and you have it logged into your Tradeovate, your data is included already, so you don't need to pay for it on top. For me, I have multiple windows open, so I can't do that because I can only have one window open with the live data. So, and for me, I don't want to have that delay. Like sometimes there might be a delay and then I might miss it. So yeah, technically you don't need to buy it, but if you're using multiple windows and you're logged into multiple platforms, like for example, I'm logged into NinjaTrader and I'm also logged into something else over here on my TradingView. I can't have them logged in at different places at once. I think I can't say for sure because I've never tried it, but I know for other people, if you're logged into like multiple places, it kicks you off on the other platform. So technically, yeah, you don't need it, but I do it just because it's like $7, not a really big deal for me, just to make sure that I have full connection at all times. So Josh, did that fix it? All right, guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, we'll be wrapping this up pretty soon. I think we answered all the questions. But again, guys, this is pretty much what the mentoring sessions are going to look like every day. We'll have a live session, hop on right after with the mentoring session, cover the trades, answer any questions, and then we'll go from there. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, reach out. Otherwise, I'll see you guys back here on a Wednesday for Market Open. So, all right.